Hey guys, in our English video lesson today, we're going to learn some vocabulary with Sam Harris, who is an eloquent moral philosopher. A good word for you to learn here is eloquent, which is an adjective that describes someone who is very good at persuasive speaking or writing. Let's get into the lesson, learn more words, which, by the way, will be in the description.
Deference to experts and pseudo-experts.
Deference to experts. Deference is a noun, which means polite submission or response. A lot of the time, we don't really know much about a particular subject, and we need to defer to experts. We need to ask them to express themselves and share their opinions.
Behind all of that.
Well, the papers, you would stand on the shoulders of giants, but you can surf those shoulders better than the giants themselves.
Yeah, but I knew we were going to disagree about that. Like I saw his podcast where he brought on these experts who had, many of them had the right credentials, but for a variety of reasons, they didn't pass the smell test.
They didn't pass the smell test. I didn't find them that credible. They were not found to be ethical or reliable or genuine experts.
For me, I mean, one larger problem, and this goes back to the problem of how we rely on authority in science, is that you can always find a PhD or an MD to champion any crackpot idea.
You can always find a PhD to champion any crackpot idea. A couple words there. To champion, to advocate. Another good word here is crackpot, an idea which is not really rooted in science. It's shady, unreliable, a crackpot idea.
Right? You could, I mean, it is amazing, but you could find PhDs and MDs who would sit up there in front of Congress and say that they thought smoking was not addictive, or that it was not harmful there was no direct link between smoking and lung cancer. You can always find those people, but some of the people Brett found were people who had obvious tells.
Some of the people on Brett's panel were not reliable. They had obvious tells. Tell is a countable noun, which means a sign.
My point of view, to my eye. I mean, and I saw them on, some of the same people were on Rogan's podcast, right? And it's hard because if a person does have the right credentials, and they're not saying something floridly mistaken.
If they're not saying something floridly mistaken, something which is very obviously mistaken.
And we're talking about something where they're genuine unknowns, right? Like how much do we know about the safety of these vaccines, right? It's at that point not a whole hell of a lot. I mean, we have no long-term data on mRNA vaccines. But to confidently say that millions of people are going to die because of these vaccines, and to confidently say that ivermectin is a panacea.
That ivermectin is a panacea. A panacea is a cure-it-all. It is a mythical form of medication that can cure all kinds of illnesses and diseases.
Right. Ivermectin is the thing that prevents COVID, right? Mm-hmm. There was no good reason to say either of those things at that moment. And so given that that's where Brett was, I felt like there was nothing to debate. We're both the wrong people to be getting into the weeds on this.
We were both the wrong people to be getting to the weeds. When you get into the weeds of a subject, you discuss the details of something.
We're both going to defer to our chosen experts. His experts look like crackpots to me, and or at least the ones who are most vociferous on those edgiest points.
Or at least the ones who are most vociferous. Vociferous is a great adjective. It describes someone who expresses their opinions loudly, publicly. They're very outspoken.
And your experts seem like, what is the term? Mass hysteria. I forgot the term.
But it's like with climate science. I mean, this old.
And I think that was a slight jab at Sam Harris right there. Anyways, I hope you've learned some words from my video lesson. Keep an eye out for the next one.